this is Teacher Wayne, and I'm just continuing my zombie mini zombie series and making the game. I'm just in this particular video, it's going to be quite a short one. I'm just going to show you how to troubleshoot the zombie animation glitch. What do I mean by that? So I'm talking about when you kill it, it does this funny little stutter step. So I've shot it, and watch what happens. It does that. It does this funny little stutter step, and it doesn't quite, the animation doesn't complete properly. And I'm going to show you how I overcame that really quickly. So here's the animation sequence. So it's the falling back animation sequence that's not working. What I did is I went in here and I turned off as exit time. I also turned off in here as unticked that one and unticked that one. Simple as that, really. So if I, oops, wrong button. If I go back to the scene and now press play and shoot it, it lays down flat and then vanishes, and that's what we want. Simple, really. So that's the animation, death animation sorted out for the game. I'm going to continue doing lots of little short videos. I'll see you in the next little clip. Okay, the next thing on this list I want to look at is a spawn manager. So basically we've got a game playing, and at the moment I've only got one zombie in play. I've pushed him right over there for now. We've got one zombie in play, but we want it so that we've got an ever increasing number of zombies we have to fight against. So we use this concept called a spawn manager. So first thing we need is a script for it, and I'm going to go through the script and then I'm going to show you how we actually add it to our game. So this is the script for the spawn manager. I'm going to go through it all. So the first thing we have is this serialized field private game object enemies. Now enemies here, this is the zombie in the thing. So we need this script to link with zombies. Now in my game here, I've got a prefabs folder, and I dragged and dropped the zombie character down to here to create what's known as a prefab. So this exists here. I've also, you can see I've got other prefabs as well. Really useful prefab. So it's going to basically, if I press, well, I can't press play yet because I've not got it working. But we want it so that it just spawns enemies, but we want them to spawn not loads and loads and loads of them in a sort of limited timed fashion. So the way I envisioned it is every 5 seconds I want a zombie to appear. So this is what this script is showing. So I've got here, this is, we never have more than 50 zombies playing. So I've got a variable called num of bad guys, which is the number of bad guys. I set it to 0, and every time we spawn a zombie we increase that number, and once it gets to 50, here if you've got a little if statement here, provided there's less than 50, it will spawn more. So that's why I've got this num bad guys. It just counts how many bad guys we've got playing. And then I've got two variables here to do timing. I've got the time, which is the current time, and the timings is what we sort of timing it against. It's like having a timer on a stopwatch where you time every 5 minutes and then the alarm goes off and something happens. It's like if you're doing some cooking. Not that you guys probably do any cooking. A lot of you guys anyway. Some might do cooking. I don't know. Shouldn't judge you like that. So anyway, it's like a cooking timer. So here's a script for the timing. So the timings here, what we're doing is we're increasing time in line with real time. Time.delta time just counts the in-game time. And what we're doing is that's going to increase as in real time. So when that gets to, if that is greater than 5, now at the moment time is set to 0 and timing is set to 0. So basically right at the beginning of the game it's going to spawn a zombie because timing will be greater than time, because that is 0 and that's going to be whatever the real time in the game. So as long as real time goes beyond 0 seconds, which is bound to do because we're playing a game, it will do enemy spawn routine, which I'll go to in a minute. Then it increases time by 5 seconds. It does a little debug to display it to screen. You can comment that out. Commenting it out is just that, by the way. But That's just to debug it, this line. We don't really need it. So every basically, as you can see, that's 5 seconds. So that gets it set to 5, and then when in-game time, when timing gets to 5 seconds or more, so in other words 5 seconds is elapsed in game, then it spawns again. So every 5 seconds a zombie is spawned until we get 50 zombies arrive. That's what in English that code is doing. Let's talk about this enemy spawn routine. Now we've got this new function called instantiate. That means create. And it's going to create an object called enemies. Now on enemies, we've said here, we've got the serialized here. We're going to link that to our zombies later. I'll show you that later. So it's going to spawn a zombie, and it's going to spawn it in a 3-dimensional space on the game. This is the X, this is the Y, and that's the Z. Now the Y, for me, I've moved my terrain 200 up. So the Y is always going to be 200. It's fixed height of 200. Now for your games, guys, you've got to set that to your terrain height, or else they'll appear underground or floating up in the air. That's a word of warning. You need to figure that out. How do you figure that out? You go to terrain. You literally go to this little star here, and as you scroll down here, you can figure out, it doesn't actually tell you, it just says how high it is. What I do is I go to one of my zombie characters, and I look at, can you see, I'm looking at the Y here, it's set to 200, so I know that this guy is 200. So find one of your game objects and you can look at the Y here. So I know that 200 is touching the ground, so I'm going to leave it at 200. So I want him to spawn, all the zombies to spawn at the same height as this one zombie. Now obviously if you've got a landscape, if you're picking a landscape where it's undulating up and down, what you need to do next is you need to locate someone on your map. So what I've done, this is what I did, is I've scrolled around my map and I looked for somewhere to zoom to find it. I looked where I was, and player, I'm there. So I want them to sort of spawn. I was thinking of spawning, can you see where my mouse is moving, in this sort of space. So I've put the first zombie there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the 3-dimensional space where I want. So the Y's fixed at 200, so that value there is 200. But now I need to feel the X and the Z. So how do I figure that out? We need to. This is where you need to look at your map and look somewhere where's zombies. I'm going to get them to spawn in this sector here. So if you look at here, I've got an X of 200. So, but I don't want them all to spawn in the same spot. I want them to randomly spawn, because if you keep spawning the zombie in the same spot, they'll overlap each other and cause all sorts of errors in the code as it's trying to clash with each other. So what I want to do is I'm moving this around. Can you see the X is moving as I'm moving this up and down? So I want to see what the X is. So the minimum X I want, because I'm going to go backwards and forwards as well, is about there, because if I go forward it's going to clip. I don't want it clipping that water there. So the minimum X I want is about, say 170, I think. 170 might be a little bit bad, because if I go there I can see it'll appear in water. So I want it to go, yeah, that would do. So 180. So the minimum X I want is 180. So here I'm going to change, this is the X, I'm going to set it, so the minimum is 180. We put this bit in brackets, 180 here. This is the X. So I'm putting plus 180. You find out what yours is and you put it there as your minimum. The maximum I want, well, I can put it as anything I want, but if I'm saying that's 180, say I want it 50, 180 plus 50, you've got to do your maths here. This is where maths comes in. People think, why do I need maths in games? Well, you can't do any of this without maths. So 230, I want them to spawn between there, 180, and there, 240, we'll say. So it spawns between there and there, 240. So then this bit here, this random, that is just a random number between 0 and 1. And we want to times that by, we've just said, if we set that at 100, so that will create a random number on the X. So it was a random number between 1 and 100. Plus 100, so it's going to appear between 180, which is here, and 280, which is over here, which is fine by me. I don't mind them spawning anywhere between there and there. 180 and 280. Now I want that bit, the Y stick at 200, so now we do the same for the Z. And the Z is this backwards and forwards here. Can you see the Z's changing? So what's the minimum I want forward? I don't want it too far forward. Say I want it, say 150, would I? And I say 150, say to 200. Yeah, 150 to 200. That's fine by me. So 150. Yeah, I'm going to change that to 150. So this will create here. This will create a random enemy appearing between 280, because I just added 100 to that, between 180 and 280, 200Y, and between 150 and 200. So it's going to create a random little zombie there. And this here is the code for it. I'm going to save that. Now we've got to get that to run in game. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a blank game object. We create what's known as empty. There we are. And I'm going to just rename that to Spawn Manager. Yeah. And then I'm going to find my code called Spawn Manager. Just drag and drop it onto there so it's now running. And can you see it's looking for enemies? So now what I do is I go to code, prefabs, click on Spawn Manager back again. I'm going to drag that zombie from the prefabs, not from the desktop, from the prefabs, because that might die. I'm going to drag it from there to there, and you can see that says zombie. This is just a backup of that anyway. Now if I press play, we've got our game appearing. Now can you see on the left hand side, can you see it says zombie clone, zombie clone? It's starting to appear down here now. So if I go walk down here, I should start seeing zombies on the screen. There's one, pardon me, on that tree. There's another one. Oh, there's another. They're appearing, you see. They're starting to appear now. He's spotted me and he's walking towards me. I'm going to come here and have a look. We're getting more and more zombies every 5 seconds. Zombie eyes. They're off now. They found me. Yeah, I've got 2 zombies chasing me. And can you see there's 2 there? I'm just going to go down here really. Let's have a look. There's zombie hunt. There's loads of zombies appearing. In that area that I set, there's one here. There's one there. Oh look, they're appearing all over the place in this area. I've got a herd of zombies chasing me now. And they're randomly appearing. Look at them all. But I'm only ever going to get up to 50, which is good. So can you see we've got a game that now works? I'm just going to stop playing that. So that's how you get them to randomly spawn. I hope that enjoyed that. I'm going to see if I can add any more elements as well. So this is Teacher Wayne saying bye for now, and thank you for listening.